All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is June 24th, 2019. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Come See the All-New Real-Time Alert Indicator. And as everyone knows who's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, I don't see any, so let's go ahead and get started. All right. By the way, did everybody see how I said oil would probably move after we closed the room, and did oil move after we closed the room? It certainly did. Anybody catch it? We had some good moves on oil today, and also some sideways stuff on ES. I'm about to kick ES out of the room. I don't even like it, actually. But, you know, it's up to you. You can trade it if you want. I'm pretty much just, that's not a mover for me. I like quick and fast movements that I can get some coin on. When you have to fall asleep and hit your head on the desk, it's hard to actually get good trades. All right, let's go ahead and go over a little bit on the alerts. And the reason I want to do this again is because we've had new people come in, and also, you know, some people on trial and things like that. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the alerts again tonight, because the alerts really is actually just showing you just where we call these trades. I mean, you're going to see in real time these flashing bars. Now, I've had some people even mention, hey, could we get away from the flashing? We might actually add that to the alert indicator, you know, up here in this alert area, where you can actually make the bars flash or not flash. That's possibly going to be added, but it's not in the plans right this very moment. We've still got to get Ninja 8 completely done, and I'm also working right this very moment with the programmer on getting this power trend to where you can adjust it any way you want it as far as color. So that's almost done. All right, Lewis says yes. Paragraph 2, line 3 on the disclaimer. Can we go over that, please? Okay. There's always a comment in every time. All right. So anyway, on the alerts, basically, just to go over it real quick, the alerts actually took over the bar colors, and it also even adds the background. Although you still do use the background indicator on the chart, because it basically, the alerts just pulls from the background indicator. Now the bar color, though, so that it can flash, you can no longer use the bar color on the indicator section of your, you know, basically your object trader template. So when we put out the new template, we just simply did away with the bar colors right here, with any bar colors down in here, because the bar colors are already in the alert. Okay. Now in the alert also, just to let you know, and you're going to get the new one here pretty soon, just as soon as I get this other color. But I have changed it to where the new alert on the, what we call the minimum, not the minimum criteria, but the minor short and the minor long are not going to sound the alerts at all. You know, because rather than having it even show up over here on the screen at all, I just felt that, you know, it's just not necessary. I mean, we do want to know, for instance, when a mid-band trade is getting ready to fire. We want to know when a phantom's getting ready to fire. But these minor, you know, they're going to be firing all the time, so you're going to see an alert flashing all the time. So I did change that on the next version that'll be coming out your way. All right. Has everybody got their colors about like this? You can change them to anything you want, but I have found that these colors will let you be able to see them with the different colored backgrounds and different colored bars. I worked on this for quite a few hours to get it just like this. Okay, now this text up here and the menu back and the menu inactive, that is simply this right up here. Okay, the white text, the silver background, and then the black inactive color. All that is just simply when it's inactive, these are black. See, like that. And this is silver, and this is white inside here. So you can actually change any of that you want to. Okay, anytime you want to, and then just resave your indicator. Okay, and you'll notice that also, besides the alert colors, you do have the bar colors just like you always did. So you can change your bar colors if you want. And I recommend the intensity of 255 because that gives you the nice intensity on the bars. That's just really the color of them, the deepness of the color. And then the power trend, we're setting at 3 and 48. And the reason for that is because trend 3 is actually, from 0 to 8, you're 48 ticks inside here. So it's real easy to keep up with. There's 6 ticks, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and 6. So 8 times 6, right? So, when we say something like a trade setting up at line 2, between line 2 and line 1, this is a 6-tick area that's setting that trade up. Actually, it'd be right here. Okay, that would be, for instance, a phantom. So if you turn on the phantom long, you're going to see it flash the green as long as it's touching this line right here. It's got to touch below or on line 2. And it has to have the medium, this color background right here. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else except that it's going to look for this background for a long, and it's going to look for this background over here for a short. See this color background right here? That's a phantom short right there. So, when you turn these on, you're going to see that they actually will flash in real time in the area that you want them to. Let's see, I might need to turn my alert. I've got mine set on 480. I'll put it on 10,000 for this webinar real quick. That way it's 10,000 minutes. Go ahead and let it load. And then we'll turn on the phantom short. And you'll see, whoops, sorry. Where did that go? Did I lose it? There it is right there. See how that's flashing right there? Now, this is not algorithmic or anything like that. Basically what we've done is we're getting it to where these areas that we look for trades to set up, we're letting these bars flash so they'll let you know it also. Okay? And when I've taught this for years, for instance, on phantom trades, this is the exact area that we look for these trades right in here. So you can clearly see that's a phantom trade. Okay, so a person's just got to be ready to take it. Personally, I like to take it. If I see a red bar flash, I'll put my box to where if it takes out the red bar to the downside, I'm in it. Okay, now if it goes up and touches line 7, I usually just hit the button or move my region box to where it actually fires when it takes out that, that candle right there, basically when it's coming out of that box, which is pretty close to the same area on this particular case. Okay, so just to go over it real quick, what we've done on the alert indicator is the type of areas that we've always called these trades in. These alerts are going to flash at you. And, for instance, if I wanted to see a, mid-band type short trade, I would just simply turn on my mid-band short and you'll see these bars flashing. And you'll notice that if it ever touches in this line 5 or doesn't touch this line, pardon me, if it goes above line 4, which is your mid-band, then you don't see it flashing anymore. The reason for that is because we want it to alert you. That doesn't mean that you have to box it right here, because this could still go up higher as it actually did, and you can still box it up here. Now if this faked you, remember the way I like to teach it? If you box this and this faked you and you got in and you got right back out, and then you got back in again over here, you wouldn't lose any money. Okay, but you've really got to do it pretty much like we teach, the mid-band type trade, for instance. This is a legitimate mid-band trade. It's not one of my favorite because see how this thrust down, retrace, and thrust down again, they barely took out the low. So I don't like that particular one. But, sometimes they'll just roll over and keep on going too. So if you do take it, just don't let it go back in the box. Okay? Let's see. If you alert phantom long and it's a phantom short, what would show? Well, it will never show a phantom short, Lewis, on your question. Let me show you what actually it takes to trigger a phantom. Okay? Now, remember, the phantom trade it's absolutely one of my favorite trades because you can get 10 ticks on them. And by the way, with 2 contracts, that's a $200 bill. So to me, it's a no-brainer trade. $200, $200, $200. I wouldn't care if it ran to the moon if I didn't want to put a runner on it. $200, $200, and $200 is 6 bills. That's decent coin. Okay. But what we're talking about, Lewis, on this right here, now phantom trades, the short will only trigger in this color background. And the long will only trigger in this color background right here. So you will never get a short phantom with this color background. And you will never get a long phantom with this color background. So if it's this color background right here, and you get a phantom between lines 6 and 7, and you want to take 10 ticks, or at least a mid-band, power to it, because that's actually a good short trade. Now, this turned out to be a good long trade too, didn't it? But keep in mind that this is exactly the way we teach this too. I didn't watch Charles's transition webinar from the other night, but I assume it was about like what I'm going to teach you here anyway. If you look at Lightning 3 to give an example, let me just draw it real quick. If it'll draw. Oh, I've got those dots, just a second. All right. Isn't this actually a trend change here to begin with? Because, this actually takes out Lightning 3, comes up to a phantom. This is one of my favorite trades here. I like to get 10 ticks to the downside and a huge move up on the upside. And you're seeing this after the fact, but you'll see it time and time again. I'm going to show it to you after the room closed too, because it's the exact same setup. And we've got an indicator for that too in the little alert indicator. Okay. Now remember, when you're stair-stepping down and you start stair-stepping back up, guess what? You're no longer, heading down like you were over here. Okay. So we've got a little indicator for that too. Let me show it to you. Let me get rid of Lightning 3. I'm going to show you the potential trend change. Let's see here. I would think potential trend change, it has to take out a previous swing. So it caught it right here. Is where it caught it. That is definitely a potential trend change. But I liked it even here also. But this was actually a phantom at the time, so I'm sure that's why that fired then. But see, this is a potential trend change right here. This is the alert that looks for a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high on whatever lightning you set it for. Okay? Now, the reason it didn't trigger over here is because you didn't have a low, a high, and a higher low like you did here. Because, see, lightning actually, this was a downtrend. This is the start of your uptrend. Thrust, retrace, okay? And then with a higher low like that, can we box this in? And the answer is yes. And see where this actually fires is right there. This went from red, then rose, and that tells me took long. Well, yeah. And the thing is, basically on this little trade right here, you've exhausted the downtrend. And when you exhaust this, where you break this Lightning 3 on the left-hand side, you're not going to necessarily get your trend change bar, but you are starting to break up right there. So what we like to do is get a phantom and then get down to mid-band and then box it in and take the long. that can be a very, very good trade. Or you just have to wait for this trade here, which is after it thrusts up, pulls back into mid-band. Okay, let's see. Does everybody understand? I've tried to explain these phantoms, till I'm, well, we've even got a video on it. And I'm not going to say blue in the face because we're here to teach. It's not like I'm getting exhausted with teaching it. But I do think there's a little bit of misunderstanding with phantoms because, a lot of times people think that a phantom, is still a short, like up here, for instance, and it's not. This is not a phantom trade short because at this point, you didn't know it wasn't going to go clear up to here. But this is a true phantom trade short here. And this is a true phantom long here. Okay? And the reason that we designed these bars on this indicator to let you be alerted to that is simply so that you'll see what we see. See, that's going to flash right there. Okay? And that's going to alert you to the fact that you don't even have to ask for me. Box that little jewel in and take it. Okay? Because if you're a phantom trader, that is. That's if you're a phantom trader. Now keep in mind that if you get a mid-band trade and it doesn't take out the top, you're going to get a phantom. Or you're going to get a breakdown. But as a rule, when you get a mid-band trade, as a rule, they're going to continue up and they're going to take out this swing. Okay? Yeah, background, I think, really helps too, Chris. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that will, well, that'll come in like on a trial or something. They'll say, well, the chart seems noisy. Well, it's not noisy because, we have to know these trades. If I took all this off this chart, I wouldn't even be able to tell this is a phantom, so I wouldn't be able to take that trade. Okay? Everybody see what I'm talking about here? So, for instance, if you get a trade like this at mid-band, and it goes up and then it goes back down, like so, well, it's not yet, but like so, then you're out of that trade, right? But you did get a scalp. Okay? But let me show you a little indicator that I think will keep you in the trade a little bit too, and that is here. See the white bar? The white bar took out the white bar, you could be out of the trade. And it saved you money too because it did come on down. Okay, I like these little white bars myself because let's say that you had boxed this in here. Let's say that you had seen this was getting a trend change. You had a phantom and then they boxed in at mid-band and you got a long. Okay, so if you look at these white bars, you're going to see them just start flying up until they quit flying up, and then it's time to take the trade off the table. Everybody see that? Now, since that's so close to line 6, I would probably use line 6. But still, see how good those are at getting you out of a trade? Okay, so learn to really use those when you get into a trade. Not so much to get into a trade as you're using it to stay in a trade. Now, you can also use it to get into a trade, but, sometimes simply because they're swings, you're going to get it like right here instead of at the box. Could you have taken this trade here? Well, obviously, in hindsight, you could, right? I mean, there's no question about it. When that bar flashed white, you could take that trade. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions so far? Let's see. Phantom trades are too close to be distinguished long and short. No, they're actually not. Let me go over why that's the case. Okay. Now markets have been, pretty volatile to begin with. The last, well, actually since about Trump got elected, truthfully, and even before that with Obama. So I think the markets have been, pretty up and down. Period. But that's the beauty, of a phantom. But let's say, for instance, let's say you were looking at this live, and you said, well, you know what, my boxed in trade got stopped out, so I'm going to take a short. No, because see, it just went short and then went back long. That's what Charles and I even did with ES today, remember? And technically, ES was just a little phantom, but it's still got a scalp. Now, can you take this trade short? Absolutely. You could actually take it short when the thing rolls over from a lower high and you see this little shooting star type candle, if you're quick enough to grab it, but usually with their algorithms and everything, they're going to get you filled somewhere in here anyway. And, that to me is not a good short. Now, would this be a good short, like right through here? If it broke, and you could box it, yeah, possibly. But, if you stay with the trend, that's phantom long. And did it work out? It gave you probably 15 ticks or better. This one gave you even more than that. This is a phantom trade right here. See the green flashing right there? That's going to alert you to the fact that it's a phantom trade. And what you're shooting for on a phantom is line 2 to line 4, anywhere above it, don't let it take you out. Even back through mid-band, you can take it off the table if you want, and then get ready for another one. Okay? Because these little alerts, I think, make a huge difference in your trading. Okay? Because this is exactly the trades we teach. So let's go back over here and see what's actually going on as we're paused. Okay, you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. What trade are you going to do right here? Oh, I agree, Lewis. I think the phantoms are just absolutely awesome. I mean, even this one here, if you think about taking a phantom line 1 all the way to mid-band, that is at least a 12 to 15 tick trade. That's a $300 bill with oil. I don't think they're beatable myself. And if you're not getting, flashing and everything, and I'm not talking about these little miners. Don't think just because miners are flashing that you've got to trade. If you're boxing in and you see the miner kick in, then yes. But don't just turn on everything on here, because like I said the other day, you'll have so many bars flashing that you won't even believe it. I'll show you. Now, would this be a menagerie of trying to figure out where the trade is? We didn't design it for that. Keep turning that one off. We didn't design it that way. Okay. So, that would just be confused. That would confuse me, and I think I draw on charts pretty well, but I'd go, what? Kind of like Charles, what? Oh, dang, I don't like that. No, you want to just turn on whatever alert. And keep in mind, if you know where the trade is to begin with, you don't really need the alert. But the reason we put the alerts together was simply so that everybody could see the trade types that we've been teaching for 10 years and trade types that work. Okay. Now, we have only designed the alerts to work with certain types of trades. To give an example, a mid-band long will not flash with this color right here. So if you turn on mid-band long, you're going to notice that you got them down here, see, but you don't have it here. And there's a good reason for that, because this is sideways. We don't really want to flash it here. Okay. Now, mid-band short, you'll notice that you'll flash here, but you won't flash in like this or even this color right here at all. See where I'm flashing mid-band short right now? Notice that with this color, there's nothing flashing. That's because this area right here is pretty much phantom, although it's not phantom technically because it's not this color background. Okay, but when it's sideways like this, you can actually take trades both directions. If you see a clear area of support, buy it for 10, buy it for 10, buy it for 10, or sell it for 10, sell it for 10, sell it for 10. Because when you're sideways like this, you're pretty much just in a range. And, and when you are sideways like this, and you could clearly see even over here, thrust, retrace, thrust, if you draw your lines on your charts like we always do, and let's say that, you saw this right through here even, you can pretty much see you're in this range right here. So could you short 10 ticks, 10 ticks, 10 ticks? Yes. Okay, but we're not going to alert you in this area right here. Because truthfully, when they go sideways like that, you got to get in, you got to get out. And an alert's going to be like a wake-up call, and by the time you wake up, you've already missed your 10 ticks. Let's see, regarding a question above, let me see here real quick. What do you think to look short here at mid-band? On the one we're talking about at the end here, right here? Yes, I'd definitely be looking for a short here. Because, you know, and the reason you can tell that, you had a high, you had a low, you had a lower high, or at least the same. Or you could say, well, if that was the same, even I've got a high, I've got a low, I've got a lower high, and I got a lower low. I changed my background, I changed my mid-band. So, yeah, I'm looking for shorts. Do you use mid-band color for the 10-tick sideways trades to know it's not going higher or lower, Chuck? Well, to give you an example, like, let's say, for instance, you got in and this is what you got. I'd be drawing something like this and something like this right here. So if they don't break out of this little range, that's the range you're trading right there. Let me get rid of this one so you see that. Okay, so this is the range that you're trading right here. So, you know, could you be ready to take this with like Object Trader to give an example? And the answer is yes, right? Okay, you could use a trend line, which we talked about Saturday, or box it in. Now, when I box, what I normally like to do is I'll box it right here, and I'll box it right up in here within a tick or so. And the reason for that is because if I'm going to head down, I expect a high, I expect a low, and I expect a lower high. Okay, now if you box it right up here exactly, you're probably not going to get the trade. You'll get the breakout if it breaks down, but you won't get the retracement that actually hits resistance. Because like I say, you know, if this is truly a downtrend, then you have a, you know, a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust again. Okay, otherwise you're not really in a downtrend if you're in more of a channel if they tag this at all. Okay, let's see if we can trade that at all. I didn't get up till about 5, so it'd be fair. Let's see if we can trade it. What we'll do is we'll put a region on it. And what I like to personally do if I'm going to put a region like this is I'm going to look to the left to trade the right, and I see a resistance area. And see, they took it out a little bit, so they're probably going to test that. So I'm going to put a little trade, something like that. And hope that I go ahead and get up here instead of breaking out here. Well, let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. Yeah, see, it's going to go up a little bit more. There you go. You actually got you a little trade. Okay, everybody see that? Basically, what you do is you draw your resistance on your chart. This did actually come up to here. And look, it basically tagged it, looks like within 1 tick or right on the money. 5804, 5804, yeah, it tagged it on the money. Okay, so technically to me, that's still not a downtrend yet because you have a high, low, lower high, lower low, or high, low, lower high, but not a lower low. Everybody see that? But since this has already happened, high, low, lower high, lower low, then this just tested resistance, so we actually got it. All right, and if I wanted to add one to this one, I could actually even tighten this box a little bit, something like that. See the support right through there? Looking to the left to trade the right. And then if it breaks it, you know, I could go ahead and add one and see if we can get a little trade. And then look to the left to trade the right. I've got support right over here. And I've got, yeah, decent support there. But if they break this, they'll head down a little bit more. Let's see if we can get a little trade on this. But let's use our little indicator to get out of this trade too. How's that? Let's see if we can do it. We might even get that up here. I didn't get that. I moved it as it was doing it. Moved it as it was going through it. So anyway, we're in one. It's no big deal. It's just looking at a trade. All right, let's turn this little indicator on. And see when we might be able to get out of this trade. I see a little swing right there. Couldn't you protect your trade right across there? See it right there? Now, granted, we only have one, so, we've got to protect the one, right? Or we've got to just go in it for the gusto. Now I'd bring it here. Oh, we got to turn on the black one, sorry. Little black one right there. There we go. There's your stop. Now, like I said, I would have liked to have two on this instead of just the one, but that's still 180 bucks. That's not too shabby. Now, it's going to take us, it'll be about 130 if it takes us. If you put it on exit on close, it'll be a little less than that, but let's do it anyway because that's the way I like to trade it. But the way I like to personally trade it more than that is to go ahead and get that second contract so that you've already taken some coin and you're actually up more like you're at 300. Okay. And if this doesn't take out this support right here, yeah, they're going to take us out, it looks like to me. Exit on close will get us out if they close above that line. And it looks like it's going to. Now, if you see that it's doing something like this with like that white bar, you can hit the close. You don't have to wait, see, because we gave up literally a $100 bill of that trade right there. All right. So let's see if we can get in another trade. All right. So we came to support. We're going to see if we can get back to a resistance area. Now, predictors saying we're coming right here. And I'm going to look to the left to trade the right. We shouldn't go as high as this one, but we could, because they can obviously go in a big old channel. So let's see if we can get a trade. And I'll turn this off again so that we can actually get the trade. Just a second. Turn this off. Turn that off, and we're going to get a trade, and then we'll turn them back on. Now, we've missed a little bit of a trade, unfortunately, because we didn't get that second contract. We'll try to get two this time. I'll start with two, heck. That can give our money away a little quicker, can it? All right, let's go ahead and let it see if it'll go above mid-band, or at least at mid-band. There we go. All right, see it go above mid-band, so we're in a little mid-band type trade setup. Didn't quite get up to that top. Looks like it might make it. There it is. All right, now put your stop nice and tight, like just above line 6 there. It'd be fine because that's resistance. All right, and then if we wanted to, we could actually go ahead and add one if it takes out the bottom of that box and see if we get down to this level instead, like right down here. Everybody see that? Each time you look at this, what you're looking at is those support levels, and they're going to check them all. Okay, now turn on. Yeah, we just missed it. I was going to turn on the little black one. That's all right. Going right back in the stinking box. Let's see if we can get another one added here. And our stop's going to have to be right up in here, so that's like 5 ticks. 6 ticks, pardon me. Yeah, until we take out this resistance, we're not looking for longs, right, everyone? We're looking to short these tops, just the way we teach it. Let's see if it'll give us that other contract or not. There it did. All right, let's turn on our little black bar. We do have it on. All right, let's watch it and see if we can get out of this trade. And even turn on the little white one if you want, because that way you'll be able to see if it starts even trying to stair step back up. So far, we had a black bar right here that's flashing. Going to get another one, it looks like. Not yet. Now I'd go ahead and bring my stop down myself though. Even without that black bar, we've got one over here for sure already. So that way we're protected on the trade pretty good. There's your black bar. Bring it down. And just opt out. Everybody see that? Now notice that all we did is came down to this little low down here. Does that mean you couldn't take a long down here? I'm not going to teach that tonight as much, but if you draw your lines right and you see you're in this big old range, you can actually buy that at the bottom. Okay, but we're looking for retrace trades. So where do you think it's going to go next? Anybody? Just get ready to box it. That's all you got to do. Okay, so, and by the way, you can even do this with your lightning also if you want to. You know, turn on your lightning and watch for the little, let's see if I can get it. See if we can get a retrace of any kind and then box it in as it goes. Now, if we miss this one, we're going to have to wait for it to break support and come back and kiss it, and then we'll box it. But predictor's saying we're at least coming to here. And I trust predictors pretty good. So, you know, it doesn't mean you just hit the button at them. But if a predictor shows here, then you can usually count on your price is going to try to get there. At least if it hits one of these other predictors and bounces. So what we're going to do is we're going to box it in and see if we can get a trade. Everybody see how you can use these alerts in real time? See how easily you got out of this trade rather than letting it go all the way back to mid-band? You know, I mean, you know, it took us out right up in here. Did it go lower? Yeah, it did. But do you really care? I'll show you a trade that I took this afternoon on oil, and I got out on a white bar, and the silly thing went up about another 14 ticks or so. But by the time you actually figured out where to get out, it was about where I got out anyway. So I find that usually when they start flashing these little swings and everything, you're pretty much going to give up the trade anyway if you just go ahead and hold it, you know. Okay, let's see. That's flashing. Let's see if we can get up maybe into here or even here. See if we can get another trade. Got to at least get to predictor though, or at least, well, like I say, at least predictor. That predictor's right there. I wanted at least to touch it, and then I'll box. So we'll go ahead and draw our box. Looks like a little mid-band trade for us there. Okay. And if it goes any higher than that, which it hasn't yet, you got to swing right over here to the left. So it might go just a tad higher, like something like that. And if it does, I'll add one. Stop on the trade's going to have to be looking to the left to trade the right. I see a swing right through here that they really shouldn't take out. So I'd probably put my stop. Let's see, and there's a swing right over here. I don't really want to go this high. We've already got 15. Let's leave it at 15. I'm not gonna raise it any higher than that. See if we can stay in this trade. Now let's turn on. If you want to get, let me show you even a little bit better entry than just boxing it in like this. If you want to use these little alerts too, let's turn this off and I'll show you. Let's just turn on the black one only, and let's just fire it manually if we see it. There was one right there, so actually you could box it now. Accidentally turned on the wrong one. Is this heading up? Well, so far it's just nothing but a little above the mid band, and let's see if we can add one. out the bottom. Stop on this one's going to be right there. Looking to the left to trade the right. Okay? Looks like we got 3. Target's right down here. Target could also be right here for a scalp, obviously. And then you could ride your runner. It's going a little sideways, but that's still holding where we want it to. Now, with it doing like this right here, see how that got a lower high just then? You could go ahead and tighten your stop now. Something like that. Exit on close. And if it gets it, it gets it. See, we're risking a. There we go. We got our scalp. All right, let's turn on our little black indicator. See it right there? Let's bring our stop just above that. And let's see if it takes us or if it leaves us in. Took us out. That's fine with me. That is fine with me. Okay, is there another trade setting up on the chart? Well, let's look to the left to trade the right and see if there is. High, low, lower high, lower low. I haven't checked this swing over here to the left. You could actually box it. This is like a little mid-band trade. Might have missed it already. And we're going to tighten that one just in case, because you are starting to stair step now. And then turn that little indicator back on again and watch the black bar. See, because otherwise, could you see if you would have boxed this in here, they came all the way back to your entry anyway. So if they take you out, they just take you out. You got to get that scalp first. You know, I find myself sometimes, you know, when I trade stupidly, and we all do it occasionally, and if I trade stupidly, it's when I actually hold on to all my contracts. Every time if I hold on to all my contracts. So the best way to do is actually to get that scalp. You know, sometimes when it runs like 75 ticks and you think, wow, it's great, I left 3 on. Yeah, but how many times does it do 10 ticks back in your face, 12 ticks back in your face, 14 ticks back in your face? It's constant. That's one thing that I actually even got taught by my own son when he started trading was, you know, take the coin, get out. Because markets are not conducive to continually making you money if you don't. Because for every day that they run like 120 ticks, there's, you know, 5 hours in a row that they run 30 ticks, 20 ticks, you know, and you just can't get them. All right. Now, with what I've shown so far, does everybody see a little bit more of how we're gonna trade this and how we're gonna get out of the trade too? Okay. Now, if you're ever in the money, okay, and you want to move your targets out of the way, if they're finally starting to break down, you know, then it's not a bad time to do it, because they'll finally, after they get through playing around for, you know, 30, 40 minutes, they'll finally make a run, and it looks like they might be doing it. That's where your target would be right there. Okay, but you could still turn on that black bar and take the trade off the table if it takes it out. Everybody see that? Let's see, is this real-time oil chart? I'm asking because my oil chart is complete. No, it's not real-time. The reason for that is, Lewis, I could never teach a webinar with a real-time chart because at 7 o'clock at night, they're just not fast enough. Plus, we go over real trades in the room in real time every single day. So, you know, this is just more in a teaching fashion right here. All right, let's see if somebody wasn't trading at all yet. I want to see if anybody can pick a trade. All right, let's diagnose our charts, everyone. Let's just turn it off, just like we're starting to get our day going. All right, you missed the thrust. What do? You wait for a retrace, or you wait for a break and a retrace, right? So let's see if we can get a trade. We're going to look at a predictor. mid-band. Always look at these predictors because they can be pretty good. You know, and when they show up, keep in mind that boxing them in still gets you great trades. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, you'd be looking for short only right now. But what I did is I purposely took my trade off. I don't care how low it goes. I want everybody to pick the next trade. Let's say you got up at, well, that's 8 o'clock in the morning right there, but let's just see. All right, you broke. Where's your next trade on this chart? I'll draw you 2 lines because I see them both. I see 3 actually. I see this one, I see this one, and I see this one. Now this one is close enough to this one that I would be looking for a sweet spot here if it goes deeper, and I'd be looking for this trade if it doesn't go deeper. Okay? And predictor's going to tell me which one of those is going to be the real one. Okay, so I'm looking here and I'm also looking here. Let's see if we can get one of them. I'll bet we can. Usually do. Now keep in mind, if we would have stayed with that other short, see how the black bars stay perfectly? You know? And then if you start stair-stepping back up, you know, if you get a white bar, see like that, you can take that off the table. Your short's done. Okay, now we're looking for a retrace trade. So we're looking for here, or even as high as here. But I doubt it because you got a little consolidation patch right there. I think it's going to go here. And the reason for that is because it broke down here and it's already tested here. See it? It's already tested it. So it hadn't tested here. Now it's just a guess so far, but we are what? We're boxers, right? We box in the trade. Let's see if we can get one. We'll go ahead and do a region. That looks like it right there. Breaks line 2. I'll take the trade. Goes up higher, we'll take it a little higher. Be safe on it. Do it more like that. 1, 2, 3 reversal. See if we get something. Now keep in mind you don't always get a mid-band trade. So even predictors saying only right here. So this is kind of a little sweet spot for our trade, just right in this area right here, and it may even roll where it's at because it did hit resistance. I would probably, more than likely, if I was not in this yet, I'd do something like that and then turn it back on. The reason, because I don't have to wait for that bar to close if I don't want to. And it did come up really close to my line. See if we can get another one. There's your 3. All right. Now you're in the trade. Okay. You got to get one of your targets out of the way. You got to look to the left to trade the right. Where's it going? Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we took this trade this morning because this is the time we were in the room. Let's see here. You got support right down here at 29. Looking to the left to trade the right. And if you want to ride the whole thing, now what I recommend doing usually though, is if you get in a trade, you want to go ahead and protect your coin. Okay, we're risking 9 right now. I'll probably risk only about 6 because that's right where the swing is. And then we'd probably want to go ahead and take coin on 1 if a bar even tries to close up. If it doesn't try to close up, I'd stick with it. But we've got a tool for that. You can actually just turn on bar close. And if it goes back up, you can actually take 1 off or 2. See if that bar closes up, you could actually get out of 1. See, like that, took out 1. Okay, and then if you just want to stay with both of those, then turn on the little short deal, which we got turned on, and our little black bar is flashing right here. And we want it to flash lower than that, obviously, because our stop's just a little above that swing anyway. Let's go ahead and put it just a tad above it. Tad above the swing. And then see if we can get another black bar. Or even a white bar heading down. Same thing. See, the white bar is just breaking a little micro up, and the black bar is breaking a micro down. But they still stair step. See how we'll stair step up, and then it starts stair stepping down on your whites even. Anybody have any questions on the type of alerts? Because what I'm trying to do tonight is really show you, the use of all of these. This wasn't even part of the alerts when we first started out. We really just had midband, minimum criteria, phantom, and potential trend change. I added this one because I got to thinking that I always liked Lightning 1 to get out of trades, and why not use Lightning 1 with flashing bars? And it's actually a little faster than Lightning 1 because we're using a one range bar. Okay, let me see if I'm missing any questions real quick. Bear with me a second. Let's see. Chuck, on your question, you can use, any time. There are technically trades on charts, even, longs that have good shorts and shorts that have good longs. And it just depends on how a trader is as far as, how fast they like to trade. To give an example, like from over here, see where this was stair stepping up, tried to stair step up a little bit, came back below mid-band, you take the trade short. But that was a short background anyway. But what about something like this even, like right over here? You take a phantom, they're heading up, they don't try to take out the top, and all of a sudden they break that little box. You can take that short too. But keeping in mind though that when you're in, sideways or still in an uptrend, you want to scalp it. Anytime you go against a trend, I highly recommend scalping. And one other reason for that is because usually you'll get a decent scalp before the market decides to really, rocket it up on you. Okay, let's see where our little bars are. There's a little black bar again, see it? See that little black bar? Now like I say, that's a tight stop. You can always use the swing, but guess what? This swing's not identified yet. See the low, the high, the lower, not lower low yet, is it? So that's not even an identified swing. So if you use that as a stop, they can still take it out, give a lower high than say here, and still roll over. But our whole goal is not to give up all of our coin. Because anytime you go from phantom or the bottom of a phantom to mid-band, you're giving up 24 ticks. And I stress that time and time again. I don't like to do that. And I don't care if I get out of a trade, because if you're in the profit, you're in the profit. Do you really care a lot of times if you make, 500 or 620, versus actually just literally giving up $240 of the trade and it not going your way again? And that happens a lot too. What if, you were short here and you said, well, you know what? It just hit support, Gary drew a line, but I'm going to hold it back to mid-band. Well, what if you just got in up here, like so, and you hold it to mid-band, like so? How much of that trade are you keeping? See what I mean? That's why I personally like getting out of trades a little quicker. Now, granted, you're not going to get some of these major runs, but with this new little indicator, I think you're going to come closer to it, because we've always tried to, draw Lightning 1 and Lightning 2 on the charts and things. But see how these little bars will do it? Matter of fact, I traded this on Sunday night right here. And I'll tell you the difference in your real internet and your wireless internet. I put this trade on my top step on wired internet, and I put this exact same trade on wireless internet. Wired internet literally got that trade right here, and I had it just simply set for, remember we got it set at like 12 and 20, I think is the default. So it hit those 32 ticks in a heartbeat. Actually, I think it was 12, and I don't remember exactly what. Let's look at the setting on that just a second. Object traders normally set at 12 and 20, so that's 32 ticks. So it actually must have blown through it, because it actually gave me a $440 trade on my real Top Step account. But guess what the other one did? It fired the long all the way up here. The wireless one. Same trade, exactly set up the same. It's the delay in the time. So guess what I ended up doing? Had to get out of the trade. Yeah, 440 versus literally nothing by the time you literally got out of the trade. And that was the difference in wireless and wired. Okay, so that's again why I don't personally, just like mid-band retracements. Because what is a mid-band retracement? Is it going to go above mid-band? Do you use the Lightning 3? Now, if you start using something like Lightning 3 and you want to stay in a trade, for instance, let's say that you shorted this right here just for the fun of it, and you hold it with this swing in mind. They barely missed it by a tick, and if you had it set on your exit on close, it didn't take you. But why do that? Because you're still giving up coin. Why not box it in and take a $300 bill and then get out on the little bar that starts heading back up above the black one? Because they don't all shoot down 150 ticks. I want to add that to a trailing stop on object traders, what I want to do, where you can actually choose number 1 or number 2. So for instance, if you chose number 1, you'd be out if that closed above that candle, and if you chose number 2, you'd be out if it closed above that candle. And then if another one kicked in, it might drop it again, and it would just be a trail stop. Okay. All right. Let's see. Did I explain the alert indicator pretty well tonight? This was more about just showing the alert and how a person can get in some good trades. Because we're not all trying to make 50,000 a day or anything like that. We're not trading 500 contracts of ES or anything. We're just retail traders, just like anybody else. I've got a Top Step account, one up account, and a one up account. And I've got my own personal account. So I've got 5 total accounts and 4 computers to trade them. And that works out pretty well with a multi-broker account, because Top Step and one up are both, rhythmic. So you have to trade them on different computers at different times. And then my real account is through AMP, so it's CQG, it's still grandfathered. Then I've got another one that's a real one through NinjaTrader that I trade micros on just to test it for Top Step. And it's on a different broker. So with a multi-broker license, you can actually have 4 computers going if you want. Okay, see how that's stair-stepping up right there? Could you be out of that trade? Because it did break that little black bar right there. Is it going to go up higher? What do you think? Went down to 57, what is that, 57.47? That could roll right here, right? It could easily roll right here, and it very well could, okay? But keep in mind that when you're trading and you're just trying to make profits, you don't have to let these things just retrace like crazy. Let me show you real quick. I don't know if I think I got it. Let me show you oil. I'm going to kill this real quick. I'm going to show you right after we close the room. Just let this fast forward. And I'm going to see if anybody can pick the trade, because I was on the phone with one of our customers, and we picked out this trade. Let it just go ahead and do its thing for a little bit. Because it was after we closed the room. By the way, that's another nice rollover. $500 times, it'll go fairly quick. By the way, there's a phantom trade right there. Pretty sure I called that in the room this morning too, on that oil on that phantom. And if I remember right, that was a monster. But I'm going to fire up this chart just after we close the room. I want everybody to see if they can pick out when this changes trends, because you really need to be able to see it. Okay, so let's let it go a little bit longer and see if everybody can pick where it changed trends. Look at your lightning threes and you'll figure it out, by the way. There's 11, but it's not taking out the low yet. That's still a rollover. I'll bet you that'll be a swing right there at about 15. It's a nice little rollover trade. All right, let's stop it real quick. All right, let's say that you had gotten a lot of these trades. Phantom trade, you know, this trade was a minimum criteria trade, which will easily show up on your alerts. But what about those trades that when it's been going down pretty much all day and then they decide to go the other direction? All right, let me show you what kind of happened here. And you saw it happen earlier on this chart, so you see this all the time. Okay, is that actually a trend change as of yet on this chart? Anybody? Yes and no. Because it did take out lightning 3. It did change the background to green. But we're not thrust traders, we're retracement traders. So what we're doing is we're looking at the chart and we're going to draw our lines. We draw a line here on this little swing, and it pretty much hit that one there. You've got right here where they broke out, like so, and they haven't quite tested that just yet. But could you be ready to box this in? Let's say that you did the phantom, though. Let's just say that you did the phantom trade, because this is a phantom trade also. Not so much with the green background, but you know, when you hit this line 7 and try to get down to mid-band. But when they actually do this, where you see them no longer heading down, low, high, lower, low, a little higher high, so it negates that one. So it's still low, high, lower, low. So high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So this is taking this out over here to the left. So you're actually looking at a little trend change on this chart right here. And what we do is we get ready to box this in with, and you could do it, by the way, no bias too, because for instance, if it was to break this swing over here, I would probably go ahead and reshort it. Okay. And if it breaks the little swing to the upside, I would probably go long. And I don't usually turn these on at all yet. I just turn my region on, and then I get it down to where I want to trade it. And what I'd be looking for on this little trade right here would be close to mid-band, like kissing this little area right here for a nice little long pop, or if it happens to break the bottom of it, to short it. Okay? And this is the kind of thing you see continually in these markets. All right, you got your little long trade, right? All right. Notice when it fired the trade, it no longer has the reverse on unless you have it on auto. Okay. Now this was definitely a trend change. And if you caught this by just simply boxing it in, you know, looking for the support area where the lightning was, I'll draw the lightning and you'll see it. I'll draw the lightning 2. All right. See where it's a high, a low, a higher high, just barely. They were going to test that at least. Okay, so you got to look to the left to trade the right. And this little box, now this was a better box, obviously, for somebody that was more conservative, would have been through here. Okay, but you would have still had to put your stop down here. Okay, now if you missed that trade entirely, where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? See, it's already happened. See how it breaks above 21 and comes back and kisses it? That little area right there. What if you missed that one? What about a minimum criteria trade or something like that? then just wait for the retrace. Let's see if it actually gets it. We missed that trade because I was showing how it's set up, because I did get part of that trade this morning. All right, let's see if we can get a little minimum criteria. And I'm going to turn off the long one so we can see the minimum criteria if we get it. Because I would see a trade right down here, actually. And if it kind of pops above that little swing right there, like so, I'd probably be in that trade. See how it kissed that line right there? Now, a lot of times they'll test it a couple of times, and that's fine with me. And then I'd probably even add one if it broke above the little region again, like so. And well, we're already in 3, that's fine. Okay? And keep in mind that your predictors too, but if you look to the left to trade the right, they just tested that support area right there. Okay? And by the way, that turned into a pretty decent little trade too. And if you miss that trade, look for those pullbacks into stealth. You know, stealth can be a really good trade too. Did anybody watch this into the close or anything? I'll just about bet you it did a phantom. It hadn't done a mid-band yet. Let's see if it did a phantom. Let's just for the fun of it. And then we're going to wrap. I'm going to kill this trade. We don't care about it. Let's see if this did a phantom. This thing, well, we should have left it in because this thing ran like crazy. Like I said, I got most of this afternoon because I simply turned on my little white bars, line 6, and it got me right there. Now, I missed some of this trade because it got me because I said I'm going to only let it go to line 6 with a close of a bar plus 3 ticks. But look how it just hit a top and then came down anyway. So where would you have gotten out of this trade if you had stayed and stayed? You know, granted, it was trying to go for 58, but what if it didn't? That was still a monster trade if you boxed in way down here. Okay? But now you're looking at what kind of a trade? Anybody? You could box in another trade. Let's see. I would say that it's going right there. See how they hadn't checked that yet? And it could also be going, let's see where else it could be going. It could be going here on that little swing, and it could be going as low as this one, but I think this one's already been checked. Yeah, it's been checked. So they're not going to go that low, but they could easily go into a phantom area, so we'd watch it. And what we'd do is we'd just be boxing it in. And we'd see if we could get down to this little support area, like a phantom. Like that. So whichever way it breaks, we'll take it. I may be out of, oh, I'm out of juice. Did anybody see, did that go to a phantom later on? I don't have any, it's pausing, so I don't have any way to get that trade because I just downloaded it at about 2:30 this afternoon. So it's done for the day. But everybody see how you can clearly use these alerts and everything? I mean, you know, if you turn on, for instance, mid-band trade, it's going to be flashing at you right now. Does that mean just to take the trade long? Absolutely not. It's flashing, but where's it flashing? It's flashing right here. So could you get ready to box this trade in if it happened to decide to break up? But what if it goes down deeper? You could keep bringing your box down, bringing your box down, bringing your box down. And if it goes lower than phantom, you're no longer looking for a long. Okay. All right, I hope this helped. Does everybody like the alerts so far? Always wait for the thrust and the pullback. Absolutely. If you don't wait for the thrust and the pullback, you're going to end up, well, keep in mind that this trade, for instance, it had several pullbacks that you could get into. You know, let me show you how we've taught this for years right here. I'll get rid of lightning, and then we're gonna wrap pretty quick. Get rid of lightning 1, lightning 2, and lightning. All right. So these little thrusts and retraces, always draw on your support area and on your lower support just in case they come down, but you can always see if they've tested it. See how they tested that one? Then you draw it here and they're trying to test that one. Could you box this in right here? A little minimum criteria trade, obviously, yes. Could you box this in here when it comes down on this support and see where you could definitely box that in too? They'll usually come down and check these levels. See, they check this one. See there? Box it in. Anytime they come down these levels and hold them and bounce, are they going to check this one here? Time will tell. If it goes lower, it'll check all the way down to here or here. But it's going to check these levels. And our job as traders is to get it as it starts heading back up. But not too late after it starts heading back up, because I'd be looking for a trade right in here for sure, and even right here for sure if it decides to break up. Okay? But keep in mind, if this was to decide to break above mid-band and decided to go against me at all, I'd get out of it because it could go deeper. You've always got to be willing. Is this a trend change yet though? Well, kind of, because it's got a high, low, higher high over here. But if you shorted this, you wouldn't let it go back above that blue line. And you'd probably take coin as quick as you get down to here, if it gets down there. Okay? All right, I hope this helped everybody. Thanks very much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll do this in the room tomorrow. I got a feeling ES will move a little bit better tomorrow because it didn't move in our room today. All right, and I hope I didn't miss anybody at all. And we will go ahead and try to get this as soon as I can get these colors changed on this mid-band. We will get this back out. I want everybody to have control over this particular color right here, the power trend. You cannot control this one right here, the mid-band. You have no control over that particular one. That's actually in the code. These you have control over. You can change the colors of your lines and everything, but you can't control the colors of your little bands right here either. Now in Ninja 8, you can even control these colors, but we're going to get it to where you can control them all, because with Ninja 8, they've got a lot of black and darker type colors, and you may want to just change your whole look of Object Trader, and we're going to let you do that. All right, see you in the morning. Thanks everybody for coming. Good night.